I didn't see it on there. Yeah, I don't know.
Not on there.
Are you ready, Alicia? Welcome, everybody. We will call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting and public hearing of the Grantsville City Council. For the record, today's date is May 6th, 2026, and the time is 7 p.m. This meeting is being held at the Grantsville City Chambers, located at 429 East Main Street, Grantsville, Utah, as well as by Zoom. I am Mayor Heidi Hammond, and I will conduct a roll call. Councilmember Thomas?
Here.
Williams?
Here.
Butler?
Here.
Dalton?
Here.
Skinner?
Here.
Thank you. Next, I've asked Les Peterson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
When the command is given, I would ask you to render the proper respect for our flag, after which I'll ask you to follow me in the pledge of allegiance. Present, arms. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you receiving?
Thank you, Les.
Thank you, Renee.
All right. I just want to make a statement to everybody who is here. The item number 7 and 8 has been requested to be tabled. So we will not be taking public comment on those items. It will be moved to the May 20th meeting. But we will open the time up for agenda item number 1, which is public comment. And for the record, there was one public comment received from Krista McFarland, and that will be included in the meeting packet that's available online. The floor is open to the public to bring their concerns to the council. And if you're on Zoom and would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. You will be directed as to your turn. So if there's anybody that would like to make a public comment, this is your time to please come forward.
I might as well start it off.
You should, yes.
I'm Diane Alvord. I don't know what's on the agenda for tonight, if it was at the, how we were going to do low income budgeting for the sewer charge.
Yes, we're going to be discussing that, yes.
So that's what I wanted to comment about.
Okay.
So I know a lot of organizations, cities, the phone company, other companies do something where they take a fee from your bill to go towards low income people. And I don't know what your proposal is for our city, but to me, it feels like that's taking from the rich and giving to the poor, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, the probably do, where we don't really have a say in where that money's going to, and if we're going to help these people or not. I know it's a really humane thing to do and to help those that need help, but you're not giving me a say in that. You're just taking my money and deciding what you're going to do with it. So my idea is if you would at least ask us for a donation to go towards contributing to those that can afford the sewer bill. And instead of just taking money that from our bill and putting it to that cost. So that's what I want to bring up with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment? Anyone online?
We do have Lisa.
Okay,
And if you could-
Yeah, can you hear me?
yes.
Could you please state your full name for the record, please?
Lisa Lingwall. I'm at 189 East Elizabeth Cove.
Thank you.
Okay, so since we're talking about the sewer and our expenses and how you guys are going to raise our taxes significantly now, I recently sent every one of you an email regarding this and a couple of other things. And I just want to say that I didn't get a reply from any of you except one person, which he never did follow up with me either. But I just want to say how discouraging that is to me as a citizen. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else online, Alicia?
Yes. Kenna Ray.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. My name's Kenna Ray RV. And I just want to comment on the raise of taxes. And I know that the city is in a pinch in a lot of different ways. But our water and sewer has just gone up a lot and it's going to go up again. And now our taxes are going to go up. And I'm not happy myself, and we'll find a way to pay it. But some of these seniors on fixed incomes, this is going to be very painful for them if property taxes go up even more. And you can bet that they're going to go up from the school district. And just seems like everything, gas is going up, groceries is going up, everything's going up except income. And so I just ask that you be mindful, be very prudent with your spending, and take the least amount possible. That's it.
Thanks, Kenna Ray. Anyone else online, Alicia?
No.
Anyone else here in the room would like to make a comment? Seeing none. All right, we will close that item and move on to item number 2. Summary action items. Item number 2 is the approval of minutes from the April 1st, 2026 City Council regular meeting. Do we have any corrections that need to be made to that or concerns?
Mayor, I make a motion, we move to approve minutes from the April 1st, 2026 City Council regular meeting.
We have a motion by Councilmember Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item B, approval of minutes from the April 14th, 2026 City Council and Planning Commission work meeting. Do we have any concerns or corrections with those minutes? Get a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from the April 14th, 2026 City Council and Planning Commission work meeting.
We have a motion by Councilmember Dalton. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
A second by Councilmember Skinner. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Item C, approval of minutes from the April 15th, 2026 City Council regular meeting. Any discussion needed for those items?
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the April 15th, 2026 City Council regular meeting.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, approval of bills. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the bills?
Mayor, I make the motion that we approve the bills as presented.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 3, the introduction of Officer John Pittman and administration of the oath of office. And that'll be presented by Chief Sager.
Mayor, Council, thank you for letting us take the time to introduce Officer Pittman. Officer Pittman is over a 20-year veteran in law enforcement. He retired from West Valley as a sergeant, serving many roles, riot squad, traffic patrol, major case. I mean, he's seen it almost everything. So he's a great addition, and not only experience. We don't just want experience. We want the right person for Grantsville, and I think he's a great fit. So we're very fortunate to have him. And I'd like to, if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit more, if you have anything.
Absolutely. I've lived in Grantsville for 10 years and I love the community. I was thrilled to move here 10 years ago, and I'm thrilled to serve the community that I live in, that my family's grown up in, and that my family currently lives. So I'm absolutely ecstatic that I have this opportunity to serve others here. So thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now we'll just administer the oath here to cheat sheet for you. All right, raise your right hand. I state your name
I, John Pittman,
as a law enforcement officer.
as a law enforcement officer,
Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
I solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Sir. Now we're gonna ask his lovely wife to take his badge.
Whoa. Watch it, chief.
I'm watching.
Watch it.
be the second time.
It's intent if you
It
do
is
it.
here. So this button here, if we can get in there.
You're good, Melly. You can stand up.
Let's
Go,
go.
go. You're good. Don't worry about us.
You're fine.
I'm just forgot myself.
I was betting she would.
I was, thought that was gonna. That comes later.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you and welcome. We're grateful to have you, so thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the police officers, you're welcome to stay for this fun, exciting night, but you're also welcome to leave.
Family obligations.
That's
He can't miss
great.
his kids' game.
That's right.
That's the most important.
Thank you, chief.
You trying to sneak out with them?
Will anyone notice?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone, and thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. All right, item number 4, consideration of resolution 2026-27, approving the 2026-2027 dispatch agreement. Is that going to be presented by you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so every year annually, we go through, the sheriff provides our dispatch. And this year, I believe it went down 3%, about 3%. So this is for all the emergency calls, keeping officers safe, doing the rotation, et cetera. Pretty standard. Do you have any questions?
No, Chief, I appreciate you bringing that up. The question I had was just, how did it reflect to last year's cost? And you mentioned 3%.
Last year it was about 163,000. This one, I believe, is 158.
Okay.
So I think it's about a little under 3%.
Prices never go down. So how did that happen?
I don't know. Mr. Sheriff.
We'll take it. Okay. Anyone would like to make a motion?
Mayor, I motion that we approve resolution number 2026-27, approving the 2026-27 dispatch agreement.
We have a motion by Councilmember Skinner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you,
Chief.
Thank you.
Item number 5, consideration of resolution 2026-29, approving the advance order of 100th anniversary badges and patches for the Grantsville Fire Department, presented by Chief Remick.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, council members, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk. So we're requesting that the funds be allocated from 2027-2028 fiscal budget for the purchase of the 100-year anniversary badges and shirt patches for our department. This will not be charged until we receive them. It takes 6 to 8 months for the badges to come in, and January is our 100-year anniversary. Total cost is $6,700. This is a once in a lifetime milestone for our department. These personalized items will serve as a lasting symbol of pride and dedication of every member. Given the extended production timeline for timely approval on this expenditure would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for the consideration.
So this will come out of your budget for next year, correct? It just has to be approved now so that you have them in time for January.
We just want to be able to know if we can spend the funds now because we don't know what our budget is.
Right.
Do you have one? Do you have a badge?
Show us a badge.
So here's the shirt patches. So this one will be replaced with the 100-year. And then this is the badge. That is the badge.
Oh, a lot of milestones this year. I can't believe it's 100 years that
This one to this one.
it's been 100 years.
Correct.
Thanks, Chief.
Questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Mayor, I make a motion. We move to approve resolution 2026-29, approving the advance order for the 100-year anniversary badges and patches for the Grantsville Fire Department.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Thomas and a second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chief.
All right. The next item is a discussion of a utility assistance program presented by Councilmember Dalton. Thank you for your efforts in getting this information.
Yeah, I made a little slideshow. Do you want me to put that up on the screen? Or
Sure.
It's like a fourth grader did it, so just bear with me. And I know that it's been a while since Jolene's been here with one, so I figured I'd throw it out here while I could. It's great. All right, so. So it says the sewer utility assist, but we could take this and cover all of the utilities. Is it showing? No.
Oh, I have to drag your screen over.
Yeah,
Drag it over.
and let me stop sharing too. That one.
Shown on this screen. Can you guys see it?
You can see it on our.
I can see it on our screen, yeah.
Can you? Mike, can you like drag your screen? Well, how does it?
Drag it over to the screen on the podium. It's not. There you go. There you go.
Alright, so sewer utility assistance, obviously, it just increased the rates, and I said I'd looked into a couple different options, so. It's quick, short, so. Why we need the program, critical wastewater infrastructure upgrades, fire rating increases. This impacts fixed income households the most. Our goal is to keep sewer affordable for those households. Talked to a couple different municipalities, and they do it a few different ways. We can choose all of them or just one way, but here's a couple different options. So The monthly bill credits are directly applied to the account, so we don't give any customers money, it goes straight to their account. Targets low income and hardship households. And then some of the cities I talked to, they put a cap of $75,000 on it. We can adjust it to what we think would work. Then it's administered by the Utilities and Finance, the yearly review by the City Council. And then the applicants must reapply every year, so it doesn't automatically carry over. You know, that life changes and once they're in a better situation, they can pay for us. And then with the application, automatic approval for citizens that were on SNAP, free or reduced lunch, or any other programs that we know that they've already been through and qualified. The eligibility.
Sorry, we're trying.
So eligibility, you gotta be a Grantsville resident with an active sewer or utility account. It's your primary residence and you're 80% or less of the AMI or qualifying assistance program. And then one city had a temporary hardship cases for loss of a job, medical, anything like that. So I'm just putting all the options up there. This isn't 100% accurate, but this is kind of a guide of what the table would look like, who would qualify for what, to be able to get this assistance. And like I said, it could be whole utility assistance or just specific to sewer, depends on how we want to go about it. There's 3 different tiers. There's, if you're between 50, if you're the 50% or less, you're tier 1, and that it's a 60% bill credit, so you're not getting 100% of your bill wiped out. Still are putting in some, but they're getting a 60% credit. That can be adjusted to. And then the next tier is between 51 and 80, and that's 40% credit. And then the hardship, you can get up to 20%. Estimated households with our income in Grantsville, there'd be 71 households on the tier 1, 92 on the tier 2, and then hardship 41. That's just kind of rough numbers with what our income here is in Grantsville. And then the funding plan would be a sewer enterprise fund or utility. Some of the way it's funded too is about voluntary roundup. So, you know, you go to Walmart or whatever, and they ask if you want to round up your bill to the nearest dollar for St. Jude's or something like that. I'd give our citizens the option to round up, and then that money would be put into this fund to help pay for it. There are grant opportunities, and then if we did it, that's only 1.45% of the sewer fund. If we did it at the 75,000. So the application process, it's a simple 1-page form. You know, I put 10 to 14 day approval, but that just depends on what we've got here. Credits apply directly to the account, annual recertification, and then must apply during certain time periods for tier 1 and 2. So a lot of the cities said they have an open application from like January 1 to March 1st, and then that'll apply for that fiscal year. And then the tier 3 can apply anytime. So if you lose your job, but we put a cap. Some cities have put a cap on 2 to 3 months just to help you get back on your feet. And they can apply it at any time, but it's 2 to 3 month cap is all. Accountability, annual report to the council, track household served, track fund used, and then a yearly review. And then just this helps protect the vulnerable residents. Targeted and cap program, fiscal response, responsibly and supports rate increase acceptance. So over a year, if you're on tier 1, it's about a $500 savings. Tier 2, about $350 for the year. And then that's what the sewer, that's what we're proposing, you know, 75, 77 without it. Tier 1 would go to like $30. And then tier 2 would be 45. And tier 3, that would just determine on your eligibility for the hardship. So the annual cost with the households I put, it'd be about $28,000 for the tier 1, about 26 to 27 for tier 2, and then the hardships would be just under $10,000. So with that, those numbers, the cost would approximately be around $65,000. you put a cap of 75, that gives us a little leeway in case there's a little more or whatever, but so we have a little extra, just little girls and different things like that that come into the city. And then another way that one city does it is they put a $1 aside on everybody's bill. I know that's saying you're taking your money, but I mean, you're paying it, we're just putting that into the fund. That's what they do. So everybody that pays, they take $1 and put it into this, this fund here. With the optional customer bill, these are just different, again, just the same thing. Like I said, a fourth grader made this for me, so going over some of the same things. So if you set aside $1 a month, in our sewer thing, I think we had the projection of like 5,100 households. So I mean, give or take, you can see all the numbers there. It could cost about $5,406 a month. And the annual $65,520, but if we put a cap of 75, that gives us a little wiggle room there. And then, you know, the roundup and grants going over again. And then just recommendations, and look at it more. We can do it for just sewer or overall the whole utility. Put a cap at the 75 for the first year to see how that goes. I put launch fiscal year 2027. I was talking to Michael earlier. That might be a little fast, so we could push that into 2028, but whatever we decided there. But that's just kind of a little what I found by talking to other cities, what they do to help out their residents with their utility bills. Do you have any questions?
Is this something our current staff could do? Do we think we would need more staff to
I
implement this?
haven't talked to any of them yet.
Okay.
I just put this together. If it was something that we wanted to look at further, then we could
talk to them.
go. I just didn't want to put the cart before the horse and do all this stuff, and so. Can I ask a question?
Did she ask a question? Is that okay?
Is that in order? Yeah.
What's-
Is that in order? We passed public comment.
Oh, okay. You can address it with any of us after, though. Thank you.
If there's not any questions, I don't know if you guys, I can look into it even further, get with staff, see what's feasible, what's not, if it's even something that we can do, what that cost might look like, things like that, or if there's no desire and we just think for can't do it.
Well,
then-
I definitely, there's a desire to do it, and I like what we've done here, albeit it's in its infancy, right? And so I think we continue to push it forward. I think there's some other ways in which we can come up with that dollar amount. But just need a little bit of time to pass, and then I think we can make some decisions to allocate some monies to this program. I think it will help those 100+ households that are really gonna be able to utilize it and will need it, so. I like what you've done here, I think it's great. So I think we should look a little bit more into it. Certainly.
Anybody else want to give the same direction or different direction?
I think it's a good idea. I like it. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that said they would have hardship, so I think if we could do something. What do we do if we come on that 75 and if that's just capped and
So
whoever
it's capped, it's
applies last,
first come, first served.
we just say-
Some cities do have like if you're over a certain age, they get higher priority than other people. I mean, there's endless ways to do it. It's
Yeah.
just, some do just first come, first serve, like you're the first one with your application, you're at the top of the list, so.
Yeah, I know, I know this was a concern of all, and I think that was one of the main reasons why we pushed to do a base fee in the utility to allow for those that are fixed, that are on a fixed income and use less, then it's proportionate to their use. And this is just kind of another step on that. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, as far as where it would come from a budget standpoint and the what's and whys. Those are all the questions that I have. And we had the citizen speak on it tonight specifically, and, being really cautious to how we use dollars in a budget and allocate those is a concern I have, so.
Would you guys want to just do it for the sewer, or would you want it to be like a whole utility thing?
I think just for the sewer right now, like, I mean, that's just where we have our main concern right now, because I think everything else has been pretty fixed and the sewer is gonna go up a lot. It's kind of my thought is, so this could help. Cause I think everybody else, I mean, the budget, this is not in their budget, the sewer, so I think this is something that will help with that. And I'd like to, I mean, you put grants in here, I think that's something we should look into too, I mean, cause maybe that's something that could help cover this. I know, Alexis is working on that, but.
Well, I know we went through that whole process, but the sewer rates are not closed in my mind. I mean, they are closed on paper, but meaning I still feel like that's one area we have to try to find to address, and we've got some avenues to do that, I know, but yeah, whether those are grants or some other, that one is just not closed in my mind that we solved it. I know we voted on it to move it along, but it's not closed in my mind. So yeah, I appreciate you putting this together.
Yeah. I'll start reaching out to staff, kind of getting some more information and just letting you guys know what I find out. Okay.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Derek.
Thank you.
You want me to table 7 and 8?
Yes, please.
Mayor, I make a motion, we move to table agenda items number 7 and number 8 regarding the Wellstone subdivision until the May 20th, 2026 city council meeting.
We have a motion by Councilmember Thomas to table items 7 and 8. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We will discuss those items on May 20th. Thank you. Item number 9 is a public hearing item, consideration of resolution 2026-30, approving a plat amendment to the Moody Acres subdivision located at approximately 415 South Worthington Street. And we're going to have the presentation first. And then after the presentation, if you have comments, please come forth and bring those to our attention.
Will you go to the plat, the plat? Yeah, so this is just a minor amendment, really a lot line adjustment, but because this was already a platted, lot 2 was already platted. We did a plat amendment, and then so we're amending Moody Acres, but they called it the Williams minor subdivision, and so it just, you should have another, yeah, that one. So if you zoom in where the circle is right there, we're just adjusting that lot. Lot 1 now is just shrinking. We're aligning the future road on lot 2 to meet up. So if that is ever subdivided, we have that inner access.
So lot 1 is shrinking then
Yes.
from 3/4 to a half approximately?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's to make room for a road if we need it in that sort of.
It was to align the properties they're selling lot 1, and so it was just to finalize and align everything, so.
And this went through commission. I was able to listen to that. You remember the vote on that? It was unanimous. It was unanimous.
Yep.
Okay.
So if if lot 2 wasn't a part of a subdivision, then this could have just been processed as a boundary line adjustment. But because there are notes and other things on a plat, we wanted to save those.
Anybody
How
have
many-
any questions for
Yeah,
Shelby?
Mike, I had a
Sorry.
question regarding minor subdivisions. Remind me, how many lots? you have in a
Up to
minor?
4.
Up to 4, okay. That's interesting.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We will now open it up to public hearing. If anyone has any items they'd like to discuss with the council, this is your moment on this item. Anyone online, Alicia? All right, I'm seeing no items for the public hearing. Would anybody like to make a motion, or is there any further discussion that needs to take place?
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-30, approving the plat amendment to the Moody Acres subdivision located approximately 415 South Worthington Street.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Councilmember Skinner. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Item number 10 is also a public hearing item. It's a consideration of approving amendments to the capital facilities plan, impact fee facilities plan, and impact fee analysis. This will be presented by Robert Roussel of Ensign Engineering. And we will have the presentation first, and then we will ask for any public comment before the item is discussed with the council.
Are you gonna share?
What?
You're gonna share?
Yeah, I'll share.
Sharing.
We need to log into Zoom, or you got it? Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I'm Robert Roussel with Ensign Engineering. I'm presenting the 2026 amendments to the CFP, so cap facility plan, impact fee facility plans, and impact fee analysis. This includes everything that you see there: drinking water, public safety, parks, wastewater, water rights acquisition, and storm drainage. It does not include transportation. We're holding off on transportation until the updates are done to the transportation master plan. So we do this annually. We did do some amendments for parks and transportation in January 2026. And then what impact fees do is they help fund expansion of public facilities necessary to accommodate new growth. We meet with city staff in December and then get all the information compiled in January, February, meet again typically in March and go over the draft, get input. Then we have the work session that you all attended, with Planning Commission, and then we have the meeting with Planning Commission, which is also a public hearing, and then City Council. The process, it takes 90 days before the amended impact fees are approved before they go into effect. And any developer funded projects, which we've got kind of throughout this document that we know are strictly developer funded projects, are not impact fee eligible. I will mention, and you'll see it, we did update the demographics to coincide with the 2026 sewer rate study. We looked back at previous growth rates and kind of reduced to something that's a little bit more realistic. So we've got the 3.5% in years 2026, 2027, and then a 4% growth rate from 2028 to 2035. And we do briefly look at this annually to see if we're kind of on pace. If we see a higher growth rate, then we can make adjustments. I've kind of listed there, historically, at least over the last 26 years, it has been between 4.5% to 5% annual growth rate on average. The 10% during the COVID years, that kind of created a little bit of a spike there and brought that average a little bit up. And what we do is we determine our capital improvement projects with staff, in December, we get input kind of throughout the process. And then we, update our demographics and look at the level of service and see if we need to adjust them for each item. Impact fees also include non-capital improvement project costs, which are like interest expense on bonds, existing capital assets, professional expenses, and future debt service. So this demographics just shows you that growth rate, the 3.5% in the next couple of years, the 4%, moving forward. What we do is we only look in kind of the 10-year planning period, because with impact fees, if you collect them, you gotta expend them in 6 years, or you gotta have a reason why you're holding on. Like, for example, if you were holding on to impact fees for wastewater treatment plant. So the service connections, we get that from meter data. And what we do here is we take the meter data for a single family unit, and an ERC is an equivalent residential connection. And you can see, ERC per unit for single family is 1. And we look at what the water usage is for the different types of service connections. So we got multi-unit, trailer, commercial, church, school, construction water. And that's where we adjust, the ERC per unit to get the total ERCs for Grantsville. Planning sub areas, this just kind of helps us determine where, future growth's gonna occur and projects. And with, city staff and development coming in, we got a pretty good idea of where, certain growth is gonna occur and where projects are gonna be needed. This just shows you the projections in the next 10 years of population growth and then ERCs based on the different service connection types. But one thing that we did do this year that we got building permit information from the building department. We did adjust the commercial growth rate because it's not quite as high. It's about a quarter of what the residential growth rate is. So that has been factored in. Drinking water level of service, we do look at this 3 years we're required to with the Division of Drinking Water because they set the city's minimum drinking water standards. So that's been looked at. We haven't changed it. It was pretty similar to what it has been for the last 6 years. Capital improvement projects, these aren't all, if you go in the actual document, you'll see all of them that are listed. A lot of them are replacement. So these are like impact fee eligible projects. And then we list the ones that would be impact fee eligible, but are being paid for, 100% by a developer. So that's what's shown in here. And the ones that are shown with like the proportionate share of zero are those developer ones. The North Star tank, that's one that the city's, constructing and building. Impact fees previously were collected for it, but it's basically getting the city up to capacity on storage. So that's why that's a zero right now. But impact fees were previously collected for it when there was, excess capacity, and the project would have provided capacity for future development. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, I can zoom in if you want, but this just shows kind of all the projects, and maybe I will just kind of try to zoom in to there just throughout the city. The two projects that are being constructed right now, you've got the North Star tank, 2 million gallon tank here, and then you've got the Bates well that's in this. Well, I guess it's right there, and then additional development, in kind of the West Bank area, and then on the southeast, side of the city. And then a lot of the projects that are in the city here are replacements of just smaller water lines that are old and don't meet the minimum requirement of at least a 8-inch diameter water line. So with water, the impact fees changed slightly. They've gone up a little bit. And that's just because there's been, we decreased that, the growth rate in that 10-year. And so there's basically a higher impact fee for each, ERC, or in this instance, we calculate based on the connection size. Most of the projects in water didn't change. I think we adjusted some of the years, so it fluctuated a little bit, but they stayed pretty much the same. Public safety, level of service, we met with the fire department, police department. What we have for level of service there, we haven't really changed, kept it the same. Capital improvement projects. So I will point out one of the items that we had in here originally, took it out, but then we put it back in, was just capital improvement projects for a future satellite fire station and then the aerial truck replacement. We're showing those costs. We don't have at least a time frame of when that future satellite fire station will be constructed. So it's not actually in the impact fee calculation. And then that aerial truck replacement, because it is a replacement, we can't charge impact fees, but we did show it at least in the capital improvement projects table. That was just a comment we had in planning commission. Impact fee eligible costs, we've got the animal control shelter, and that is assuming 50% of it will be shared with a local entity. We didn't really define that. And then we've got the Justice Center police expansion. This just shows you approximately where we think some of these satellite fire stations will go. I'll kind of zoom in a little bit there. And yeah, those are subject to change depending on, how it's negotiated with, developers potentially and where they're actually needed. And then public safety, those have decreased a little bit because we have pulled out that future satellite fire station. We were previously, factoring that in. One of the big changes that I mentioned when we had the work session is we did change how non-residential is calculated. And I guess, how single family and multi-unit is factored. We were basing it based on like an average building size. But what we've done is we've now based it based on calls per unit, and we got from the police department, we've got the CAD calls, just the total, calls per unit for single family, multifamily, and non-residential. And that's how we're basing it now. So for example, and there's some examples in the actual write-up, but for example, now if you had like a really large commercial building, like a warehouse, it's technically one unit, so it would be charged just that, that $3,070.10. But if you had like a strip mall and you had 10 units in there, then they would be charged, that per each unit. And I guess, as you can see there, like single family, there's not quite as many calls, and there's, almost 2 calls per unit for multifamily, and then 2.5 for non-residential. Level of service for parks, this has stayed for, 4 acres per 1,000 population for quite a time now. We've kind of left that the same. The only updates that we've done really on parks is we've kind of rearranged some of the construction years just to keep a positive impact fee balance. We do have 1 year, which is fine, that goes negative, but we've kind of rearranged them a little bit to adjust for that. And we have updated, the scenic slopes, that first phase with the pump track and site improvements to reflect the actual bid price that the city received. This shows you kind of where all the parks are located throughout the city. And then existing impact fees varied a little bit, went a little bit down just because we did have to kind of balance out where projects were, just keep that impact fee balance positive for most years except for one of the years. Wastewater, same thing here. We looked at level service for wastewater. It really hasn't changed. It's, the 150 gallons per day per ERC for average daily flow. And the peaking factors are all pretty similar to what they have been for the last 6 years. Capital improvement project lists, there's some developer constructed only projects, and then there's some where there's some upsize, like the West Bank Interceptor. But we've looked at the upsize of what they would have had to put in versus what, will be upsized. And that's what the costs are that are shown there. The big one on this one, obviously, is the proposed wastewater treatment facility. And as I mentioned before, the proposed wastewater treatment facility, about a third of it's how it's going to be constructed now. The capacity is going to be existing, and then 2/3 will be for future development. That 12.8% is in the 10-year planning period, what's new development. So in the future past, as it keeps going, as long as there's that capacity, there'll be it'll turn into a buy-in cost once this is built. So there will be impact fees, carrying on in the future, as long as there's capacity in the treatment plant or excess capacity. Wastewater, this just shows what's proposed. There's some improvements, along SR 112. We'll kind of zoom in there. The majority is, going to the treatment plant and then just getting sewer out to kind of that West Bank area, Matt Canyon Road and out by the Walmart distribution center. Wastewater impact fees have gone up, slightly. What we did with the rates is, we really looked at quite a few projects that were previously listed. There was a few that we were able to push out farther, which kept the rates, as low as we could get them. And then it also, impacted the impact fees a little bit as well. Water rights acquisition. So this is pretty similar as to what we presented previously. One of the comments from Planning Commission was just to look at the market rate, the cost per acre foot. It was 29,000 per acre foot. And it kind of ranges on from 29 to 35 to 40, depending on what somebody will pay for it. But we did increase it. Since Planning Commission, we did increase it to 30,000. And we'll look at that annually to try to increase it. So yeah, that's where that shows up. It goes up because of that, for that cost per acre foot. None of the water right quantities, those didn't really change. We did look at those and they've been pretty similar to the last, for the last 6 years. Storm drainage, the city doesn't charge any storm drainage. So I've just kind of shown in what we've shown in the cap facilities plan portion of it. There's really not an impact fee facilities plan or impact fee analysis, but we do have the cap facilities plan portion of it. We show the city's design requirements for storm drainage. And then this is from like the West Bank study, the various watersheds for the city. And then some of the projects that have been constructed, like the Clark Street Storm Drain Improvements Project. And it's kind of tilted there, but this is out of the West Bank study, just the various projects that are proposed in that. The reason why city doesn't charge impact fees, at least right now, is just a lot of the improvements are constructed by the developers as they're building their developments. And there's not really any regional infrastructure. Now, impact fees could be charged in the future if the city is constructing some of that regional infrastructure, and then developers they would then have to pay impact fees. And yeah, I've kind of listed that here. I won't go over that again. Impact fee comparisons, and impact fee comparisons are pretty tough, to do. Bill mentioned a good one last time in the Planning Commission meeting, like Riverton, for example. They don't charge impact fees because they've got a lot of commercial and they've got kind of that commercial tax base. What we did try to do is we kind of noted it here. We've noted the similar populations to Grantsville, Tremont, Mableton, Heber, North Logan. Now the dynamics are a little different, right? So Heber's got a lot of commercial, but we've tried to show, let's see, the proposed is in blue, existing is in green, and kind of where, like with retail, like a 5,000 square foot building, industrial, 1 million square foot building, kind of where Grantsville falls with impact fees. You can see with residential, pretty close to being in the middle there. So that's townhome, a single family resident on a half acre lot, and then an apartment on a 1,000 square foot apartment. Okay, yeah, and that's all I have. And does it go to public hearing next?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. We will now hold a public hearing on this item. If anyone would like to make a comment, now is your opportunity. And if you're online and would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. Anything online, Alicia? All right, we will close the public hearing for item number 10. We'll now turn this over to a discussion with the council. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
I'll just say, it seems like we've spent a lot of time on this, especially between planning and zoning and then our work meeting that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Robert's put in a lot of time and effort to this, and I mean, really, I think, what the citizens are asking for us to do is to, you know, make sure that those that are developing in our town, in our city are paying their fair share, or in other words, as it shows on there, the maximum amount that we can charge for the impact fees. And that's what this represents.
Yes, that's correct.
Albeit some of them were a little bit less, but the majority of them did increase slightly, and over the 2 years that I've been here, they've increased every year that we've reviewed this and voted it into effect. So anyhow, that's my thoughts.
Anyone else have any comments, concerns?
Yeah, I echo that, in the sense that we have a lot of information here. It's 300 and something pages, and we've seen it before going through. I did have a couple of questions, really regarding, like well levels and then our water consumption. And I was just wanting to make sure I was reading those tables correctly. And Robert, I don't know if I put you on the spot, to kind of go through those. Obviously, water is of concern, ensuring we have enough water. I spent a lot of time in the wells and the tanks, and just ensuring that we can provide the services that we need to provide in all aspects. But I had a question regarding one of the tables, specifically 3.6, and how I was reading that. Is that a deficit in gallons?
1.6. Yes, currently.
Okay,
So that's not factoring in the 2 million gallon
the
tank.
2 million
That's
tank,
not quite yet constructed.
which is just about finished.
About
Okay.
finished, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So once that comes into play, then that changes that equation pretty
Yeah.
substantially.
And,
Okay.
the Deseret development, they'll be doing a tank and a well too. So that'll help
Tie
as well.
into that.
Yeah, and same thing on the sources there, that 3.5, it's shown as a deficit now, but that Bates well is being drilled. That one's probably a little farther out, right? Cause they still gotta build the building and
Mhm.
do all the electrical and, yeah.
The other question that came to my mind when I was going through that is like, I'm assuming we capture this information on all of our wells, like our static well level, like when we start to pump and all of those things.
Correct,
And
yeah.
it would be nice to be able to access that information as well, just so we have an understanding. It was interesting to see how much a well cost in 1977 versus what one costs now to drill.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for
Yep.
all that.
Yeah, no problem.
That was very informative, all 300 and something pages of
Yeah,
it.
that's a lot.
Is the Bates well, is it drilled yet?
Yes,
What was the depth? That question came up last night.
705.
705 feet.
And it's under development right now. Right? Yeah, so they're developing it right now.
Yeah, but the well's drilled, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
705 feet.
We
We're
do like
working
a
on the screening and the dual swab right now.
So yeah, basically the casing's in, they should have done the surface seal. They're just developing it, kind of swabbing it, cleaning it. Yep.
We're very fortunate to have good water in Grantsville.
Yeah.
Like I've been in areas that don't have good water, so at least in the short-term period, and they're not fun places to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got great water, I think.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate. You're
Yeah.
right.
In North Dakota, their water smells like gasoline, so just saying. You get the oil in the water.
Robert, I got a quick question for you, and this just is more of, I want to make sure you understand this clearly. You said that impact fees can be applied to 2/3 of the new sewer plant, so that's for the growth, right?
Correct. So the proportionate share that's shown there is like in the next 10 years, the projected ERCs in the next 10 years. So that's in the next 10 years. But as long as there's excess capacity in the future, so once it's built, it'll be a buy-in cost as long as it has excess capacity, and you can continue charging impact fees for it.
And then that buy-in cost goes to help pay back the bonds, or I guess it's probably up to us, but
Yeah, it's part of it, right? Like
we
it's,
can use that money to
Right.
pay the bond down or back.
so as long as you have, per the law, like as long as you have excess capacity in something, so like there's excess capacity in in the water system, you know, portions of it, right? Like the distribution system, some of the sewer collection lines have excess capacity, and that's all factored in.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I've got a question, and maybe even Christie can answer this too. I know in planning commission, we've discussed on the drainage, the basins and stormwater, that if we reach a certain classification of city, then we start having to be in charge of the basins. Is that right? I think, did we have that discussion?
I think he's talking about MS4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with the?
It would be
stormwater
more
or-
on, once you're doing that, it's more of a maintenance thing. You could end up charging like a stormwater user fee.
Okay.
I mean, that's where that would probably factor in. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, but yeah.
No, I'm glad you asked that question, because the thought crossed my mind, at what point in time do we as a city decide storm is in, you know, a different approach to storm, or if there's a different approach? In your professional opinion, based on our size and other cities that you've worked with similar to us, at what point do they take that on, or do some of them never take it on and handle?
Well, what's
it
going to
the
really
format
drive
we're
that,
doing it?
and I guess, yeah, Bill, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but once, and I think, isn't the threshold 50,000 for an MS4? I can't remember exactly, but it's based on like the US Census Bureau. Like, once they define kind of probably the Tooele Valley as like a certain, can't remember, like a regional, can't remember the exact definition, but once they kind of define that as like a regional area, then you'll fall into that. And that would be I mean, some places do try to get ahead of that. I think Heber's kind of one that I know of that's trying to get ahead of that, knowing that ultimately they're going to become an MS4.
Putting infrastructure in certain areas.
Yeah, so they're kind of you know, if the development can't pay for, you know, a debris basin or something like that, they're trying to push that. A lot of their code and requirements kind of gearing themselves towards an MS4 eventually. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's really up to the city, you know, if you want to get out of it. I mean, it is coming eventually at some point. So.
No, thank you.
I would mention for stormwater, I mean, there is the West Bank, you know, master plan that looked at stormwater kind of in that area, but if you're looking at kind of this citywide, it would be good at some point to do a storm drain master plan.
Google says 100,000, but I mean, we don't need to take that to the bank.
I'm pretty confident it's 50.
Yeah, I think there's a distinction there. Yeah, exactly. There's a small MS4, so it'd be a small MS4. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then you hit on this, I appreciate it, as far as future growth and that projection. I know originally we were looking at lower percentages, and it looks like, I know that's a
right, yeah,
crystal ball approach to, yes, there's science behind it, obviously.
Yeah, we look at, you know, Census Bureau data, we look at Kim Garner Institute, we look at past building permits, we look at a bunch of different things, and that's just it. It is just kind of what's best guess approach, try to be a little bit more conservative, because after COVID, when I think it was in 22, when we did the first amendment, after about 6 years, if I remember right, it was like, oh, wow, it's going to really grow because of COVID, right? And then we kind of did the opposite approach, where we thought it was going to grow a lot more than it actually did. And then you don't have the money then to actually do your project. So it's better to be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, and I appreciate that approach. And being able to adjust year to year as we look at that. That is a concern, getting on the one side of the equation, you know, too far on the one side of the equation where we haven't captured what we should capture. So.
Yeah, and that's the problem if you don't amend them manually, is you may miss out on projects that you need to include. Because that has happened in the past with Grantsville, yeah. But there's been some projects that were in there but weren't previously part of Grantsville City, and then weren't able to collect impact fees and use impact fees for a project.
Any other questions for Robert? I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, I make a motion and move to approve the amendments to the capital facilities plan, impact fee facilities plan, and the impact fee analysis as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Councilmember Skinner. All in favor?
Aye.
Right? All right, moving on to item number 11. This is also a public hearing item. The consideration of ordinance 2026-18, approving amendments to the Grantsville City Land Use and Management Code, chapters 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 20, and 21. And we're going to have a presentation first, and then have the opportunity to make a comment on that, and then we will discuss it. But it looks like we have Bill here to talk about it.
It's me.
Yay.
Hello and welcome to spring again, spring 2.0. I love the weather. It's, I didn't see a cloud in the sky walking in, and there's something about my soul that I just love that, so. We have quite a few changes. This is one of those things, those agenda items that becomes like sausage making. And it's not glorious. It's not exciting like a capital facilities plan, but this is important work. It's a lot. Most of these changes that you've seen are relatively minor. They're tweaks that help us to clarify points within the code and bring the code more into compliance, both with itself as well as with state code, and help provide clarity for developers and property owners who want to do things with their property. So I don't know if you want to go through each specific item, or we could just open it up to if you have questions after having gone through this beautiful 166 page, I think it was 166 pages of this agenda item. But so my preference would be if you just have specific questions, then I won't have to go through every item one at a time, but we can do
Is
that if
everybody
you'd
okay
like.
with that approach?
Yeah,
Or do you want to
but
go?
I will just add, in the planning commission, I bet this was discussed and presented to them and different iterations at least a half a dozen times.
Yep.
Over the last 6 months. So
We're getting that sausage recipe just right.
Derek, do you remember going through some of these?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back in November, December?
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah, it's been a while in the making, and there's been a lot of iterations, and really kudos to the planning and zoning commission for their efforts that they put into this and really diving in and making it what it needs to be, and both of you as well, your teams. So there's a lot there.
I've left those meetings and have dreams about this.
Is this a side yard or?
Yeah.
Dream or nightmare.
Yeah.
This is it, and it is really exhausting work. We massage every phrase, every requirement, every stipulation in this document to make sure that it meets what we hope to have in our city. And so,
Any errors in favor of the applicant?
right. So if there are errors, and we try to make sure there aren't any errors or inconsistencies, they are interpreted and applied in favor of the applicant and the applicant's desires. And so, again, yeah, a lot of these are those kinds of cleanup items that will help to clarify what our intent is, as well as codify what we want to see on the ground.
Okay. Public hearing and then we discuss it.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay.
Thanks, Phil. All right, this will now become a public hearing. So if you would like to make a comment on this item, this is your opportunity to do so. If you're online and would like to make an item or a comment on this item, please raise your hand. Anything online, Alicia? All right, I'm seeing no public comment. So we will move into a council discussion on this item.
Did mention, just the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewing this multiple times, and this latest iteration was passed recently. It was a unanimous, passing with the entire
Good.
group. And anyways, just wanted to make that noted.
Yeah, there's been a lot of work and a lot of discussion that's gone into this over the last 5 or 6 months, and a lot of work by the staff, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't have any other comments other than just thank the staff for the time and effort to clean up a lot of loose ends that we had and corrections. No, it's been a lot to get to this point, so. And I think this meeting, why not have another 180-page document we throw in there too as well, the reviews, so. Anyway, thank you for your efforts.
The interesting thing about all this is it perfect? No, I think we can all
Yeah,
agree
we'll
with
be
that.
back for sure.
But I mean, it is a step in the right direction. There's some things that are taken out and clarified, and, you know, as I've said before, it's been thoroughly vetted on multiple levels, so.
I did have a question. I'm just trying to find it right here so I can
If you
reference
find
it.
Let me know and I'll go to that page. Or if you need me to search anything.
It wasn't about the horses, was it?
It's exactly where I'm going to.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Is the animals.
Making
Are you
sure
thinking
that
of
wording's
chapter
right.
2?
Huh?
Are you thinking of chapter 2?
Um,
We'll find that.
so just clarify the difference to me on the family food production. Cause it looks like it's permitted and everything and then conditional. I think that's RM 15,
Keep, scroll
page
down.
58, I think, on the thing.
Oh, you're 58?
Yeah,
What's your 58?
or 57 on the document it says.
Should you scroll down? Well, just on your main sheet. Just,
Oh.
just so I can see if it's RM7 or.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it pops like right as soon as I get to it.
Scroll up.
Well, that's page. Okay.
Yeah, and right there.
Oh, see, it
Are you
pops.
talking about this red line that's right here? On your screen?
That was one thing I was gonna see, cause it's conditional was crossed out in that one.
Correct, so that's removing it from the RM7 zoning.
Mhm.
As we seen last night,
Not possible.
yeah, it's almost impossible to keep animals on half-acre lots, let alone 7,000 square foot lots. And so we're finding that, yes, there are RM7 lots or lots in the RM7 zoning that are a lot larger than 7,000 square feet. But now we're seeing to where they can keep 15 or 20 animals in the RM7 that's supposed to be higher density zoning with smaller lots. And then we're getting that negative feedback from those residents going, hey, this isn't what I moved here for because of this zoning. And so as these lots get smaller, they're not able to keep them in there because of the lot size restrictions. And so as you can see, it's already been removed from the RM15 and R18. So we're just removing the RM7 and following with that.
And that one's 4.
That is the RM7 that's crossed out.
What's that? What does it say though up there on top? That's I just see, if you scroll up a little bit, it says then 6. Is that the family food production one?
Yes, so family food production, and keeping of large, medium, and small animals. The first large animal, fully grown, is 10,000 square feet of open area, and each additional large animal shall have an additional 2,000 square feet. Each medium-sized animal, fully grown, shall have 1,000 square feet of open area, not to exceed more than 6 medium animals per half acre. You know, if you have 7,000 square feet, and that's 7 animals, or if you have, you know, a half acre, that's 21 medium goats that you could have on there. So then we go down to each small sized animal shall have 100 square feet.
So that's my question. So you've crossed it out of conditional there, but if you scroll down to the raising of ducks and chickens, it's permitted in those zones. So if I just say this isn't for family food production,
So as long as you only have 6 animals, you're fine.
but that's for more than 6.
Yes, anything more than
Okay.
6. They still have to meet the 100 square foot per chicken or duck or goose. So then they only need 600 square feet. I mean, yeah, you could have ducks or chickens on a 7,000 square foot lot.
That was my other thing last night when we were talking about it. I'm like, do you really need a 100-foot buffer for a chicken? I mean, I can see it for large animals because you don't want them leaning on the fence, or even medium, you don't want them ruining that for, but do you need a 100-foot buffer for a chicken?
Multiple chickens, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have smaller yard than this, and I've had multiple chickens, and they don't bother anybody, unless you got a rooster.
Unless you get a rooster.
Yeah, and then that's a whole nother conversation.
Don't get me started on that.
But I'm with you, Derek. I feel like the 100-foot setback is a lot, but it has been a part of our code for a really long time, and
Okay. Just add that to my list. I think that was the only thing. I just wanted that cleared up.
Any other questions or concerns on item 11? If not, I would love a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion. We move to approve ordinance 2026-18, approving amendments to the Grantsville City Land Use and Management Codes, chapters 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 20, and 21.
We have a motion by Councilmember Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to item number 12. A presentation and consideration of resolution 2026-36 documenting compliance with truth in taxation statement requirements under 59-2-919 in anticipation of council's adoption of the tentative fiscal year 2027 budget and establishing a time and place of a public hearing to consider its adoption. And this will be presented by Aspen.
All right, council. Okay, let's see. I am going to start by reading the statement of intent, which is item A on the agenda of 12A, and that will address B, C, D, E, and G. And then I'll follow it up with the presentation of the proposed property tax impact schedule, which is 12F. And then we'll actually look at the tentative budget. So I'll start with reading. Tonight, I am presenting the tentative budget for Grantsville City for fiscal year 2027. This tentative budget includes a proposal to levy a property tax rate that exceeds the certified tax rate. The approximate dollar amount of additional ad valorem property tax revenue generated by the proposed tax increase is $1,749,701. The approximate percentage increase in ad valorem property tax revenue generated by the property tax increase is 84%. The additional revenue generated by the proposed tax increase is intended to be used to fund the additional staffing requirements for Parks and Recreation to support the scenic slopes coming online, as well as conduct a compensation study, as well as allow us to function with a 3% inflation increase without using fund balance, which is our savings. A property tax impact schedule has been prepared and is being presented tonight. This schedule outlines the estimated impact of the proposed tax increase on various property values. The property tax impact schedule is available to the public and on our website at grantsvilleut.gov, the Utah Public Notice website, as well as in the city recorder's office. If Grantsville City proceeds with the proposed tax rate increase, Grantsville City will provide notice of and conduct a public hearing at a future meeting where members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the proposed property tax increase. This concludes the required statements regarding the proposed tax increase included in the tentative budget. All right. On our screens, we have the property tax impact schedule. Sorry, let me pull it up on my own so I can read it. As it states at the top, we are considering a property tax increase rate which will increase our rate from 0.01368 to 0.02517. This exceeds the certified tax rate and is estimated to generate an additional $1,749,701 in property tax revenue. As you go down, you can see it outlines what our current property tax rate is at the 1.368, which currently generates $2,082,977 in property tax revenue. Now, this proposed revenue with the tax rate increase does not consider new growth. So there would be some there, but without including new growth, the estimated revenue is expected to be $3,832,678, which is an increase of $49,701. So as stated, that results in approximately an 84% increase. The average median sale price for Grantsville City homes from the Twilla County Assessor's Office was reported to be $530,088. At our current tax rate, they pay that $398.84. That's annually. And this average home, right? So with the proposed tax increase, that would increase it to $733.83 a year, which is approximately $334 increase annually, which results in $27.92 of a monthly increase on the average home. With that, if we scroll down some, these are the affected departments. I did split it out somewhat. In our general fund, in our general City Hall budget for human resources, they are requesting $30,000 to conduct a pay and compensation study. We feel like that's important to be able to get our city on track with ensuring that we're paying accurate wages for all of our employees. And from what Michael and I and our HR director can find, we haven't had one done. So we're recommending that. Also separately, we're recommending that Parks and Recreation have additional staff for scenic slopes. As it is getting completed this year, we will need additional staff to tend to the new park. And then overall, all of our general fund departments, it would be to cover a 3% inflation increase on all budget lines for fiscal year 2027. So that 3% inflation increase on all budget lines from what was budgeted in 2026. Now, there are some adjustments to that, like earlier Chief Sager mentioned that I already have it in the budget for the new rate for the dispatch fees, which actually went down. So there are some lines that won't show a true 3% increase, but generally speaking, there'll be a 3% increase on the budget lines that are presented, which all of those added up together accounts for the additional $1,749,701. So with that, we can look at I have a slideshow presentation. Is it showing yours, right? Okay, sorry, I would have it on mine, so I just want to make sure.
Oh.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, so just go to the next one. Okay, so I'm just kind of gonna go over a tentative budget statement, which is again, just reiterating for transparency that the tentative budget does currently include the proposed tax rate increase. We'll then go over some budget updates that we've done this year. We'll review the asks from departments that were recommended by staff, but are not included in the budget because we don't have funds for that. And then, yeah, we'll just continue through for the actual budget. Okay, so just to be sure, as the tentative budget is presented tonight, it does already include the proposed property tax rate increase. That is an 84% increase, increasing our property tax rate from 0.01368 to 0.02517, which results in approximately $1,749,701 in additional property tax revenue for Grantsville City. So some things that we have done this year that you'll notice is we have tried to reallocate some of like the line item names, such as we had a line item that was in several departments labeled CDs, books, and written materials. That's kind of just gone by the wayside. That's not something that we typically need to buy specifically for. So we've kind of done away with that budget line, and we've put those funds that were budgeted in there into office supplies, something that would make more sense. We did also establish some things that standardized things across the board. There was several departments that had employee appreciation, but they were at various budget amounts. So it wasn't clear who got how much for what reason. And so we did just standardize that at $150 per employee. And then each department gets that for the number of employees that they have. So that got adjusted. And then we did adjust some line items just to make them more accurate, I suppose. So there was a lot of budget lines that had budget in them that wasn't actually getting spent. And so we did just take those down to better reflect actual spending that occurs in those lines. So. Okay, so the 3% inflation we did apply that in the tentative budget to current staff. So that would result in a 3% increase for staff wages. However, staff insurance, as our HR director presented on Friday, through PHP, our insurance has gone up 5%. So that budget line item does actually have a 5% increase just based on the increase that's required through PHP. So just so you're aware of that, that one will not follow the 3%. Okay. So these are some asks from the departments that we felt were important. Like I had mentioned, and it is highlighted for transparency, but the Parks and Recreation staff for Scenic Slopes coming online is recommended and included in the consideration for the property tax rate increase. However, we did feel like it was important to note that the police department is actually requesting, they did request to have an additional 4 officers come on this next fiscal year due to growth. The rule is to have 1.42 officers per 1,000 people. We're actually already operating behind the curve on that. And so ideally, the police department would have liked to have hired 2 additional officers in July, and then another one in January and another one in March of next year. However, that ask is not included in the budget as it stands tonight. Just thought that we wanted to bring up the ask. The fire department would also like an increase for their stipend amount. For the next one. Okay, this was some office equipment and other asks that were asked for across departments. The fire department, as we addressed tonight with the 6,700, since that was approved, I will include that in the budget for their badges. They did ask for 15,000 total to have that available for their 100-year celebration. Then we also have the planning Community development asked to have a planning commission appreciation budget, which we had budgeted for in at the same just at the same rate that our employee appreciation is in. Finance and recorder's office did request a new printer. That would be a lease through Les Olson, and it's approximately $306 a month, which results in $3,672 for the year. Mayor, and for the mayor's budget for rodeo was, as we did that this year, excuse me, it wasn't included in the budget last year. But to budget for that, we did request $25,000 just for the continuation of the rodeo. That would cover the stock contractor and the clown. Ideally, we would get sponsors as we have this year to cover that, but in the event, we would at least be able to cover that portion of the rodeo. And then also mayor and council training, to be sure this budget line, the amount doesn't change. It just changed from the city hall budget. It's all still in the general fund, but it moved from the city hall budget to the mayor's budget just for transparency. It makes it more clear. As mayor and council, you guys are obviously separate than the staff here at City Hall. So we just wanted to separate that line out. But that's the amount that's been budgeted in previous, so it didn't change. It just moved locations. And then it does include as well the HR compensation study for $30,000, which is included in the property tax rate increase. Another thing that has been brought up that's not included in the tentative budget, but we wanted to bring up for conversation has been garbage bulk pickup days. Garbage is funded in an enterprise fund, so it's separate from the general fund, so it's not impacted by property taxes. But if that was something that we wanted to pursue, we would also need to look at garbage rates, the utility rates for garbage, because this would be an additional service that's being provided. So that's not included now, but upon your direction, we can follow what you need to there. Okay, next one. These are capital projects and equipment. The fire department would like to begin saving for a new fire truck, and just putting that on everyone's radar at $200,000 a year. You know, with that, we're looking at, 10 years before we get to $2 million. Mayor would also like a city hall remodel, which would allow for the council chambers to be flopped, as well as revamp the front entrance to be more effective for the citizens coming and having the window actually available at the front. The library would like to have some roof repairs completed. It's been leaking and causing issues into their server room. The cemetery had grounds improvement in for $100,000 to widen roads and complete a fencing project. And then the water ones and the sewer one that are included on here are separate from the general fund because they're their own fund, but they are included in the tentative budget. And that would be for the capital projects for the Apple Street and Hale Street water lines, as well as the generator building. And then animal control is currently out at the wastewater treatment plant with the wastewater treatment plant that's being built. We will need to start looking at a new location and building for animal control in the coming years. It's not that far away. So we need to start preparing for what we're going to do at that point. So that was on there as a $2 million. And then of course our wastewater treatment plant. And then the next one, Alicia. Thank you. These are some equipment that the departments would like. Fire had the extrication tools on there at $90,000. We are hoping to find grants to assist with that. So Alexis is working closely with the fire department to try to find funding for that. Roads had just asked for an increase on their parts and equipment budget line. Parks and Rec had a few different items: new park signs, autonomous mower, landscape trailer, tables and trash cans, and drinking fountains to supply and take care of our parks. And the cemetery had standing mower and a drivable dump trailer aid there, as well as a gopher smoker, and that is the official name. And then Water Fund is asking for a generator for the well. Okay.
So that's the wrong price for a generator for the well.
I think, thank you, Christy.
It's missing a zero.
I think, did I switch them though? Because on the one before that, I had the N is 300,000. So I think I might have switched.
It's probably
Yeah.
30,000 in the generator.
Yeah, so I do think I had those switched. But Yeah, none of them were actually,
Included.
none of that, yeah, except for the Parks and Rec employee and the 30,000 compensation study. None of those were included in the tentative budget as it's presented. So, let's see.
I'm just curious, the autonomous mower, I just have a question about that.
Yeah.
And, so is that for one mower?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it just takes down from staff, right? Because like the mower can be set and go mow while the staff is on site doing other things. So you don't have to have an additional staff to mow. Which could be cool.
Over something.
Okay, so I do want to give a little bit, can we switch to let me share?
Yeah. Are you plugged in?
Yes.
Okay.
So I do want to give just a little bit further explanation as to where we're at with the increase specifically. So, okay. So in fiscal year 25, they were still able to have a balanced budget with revenues and expenses. And you can see that here at the 12,400,000. That was what was budgeted, and then I had their actuals posted below. So in fiscal year 26, however, so this fiscal year that we're currently in, the revenues did not meet the expenses. So that required to draw from fund balance for our general
And
fund.
that was because our growth did not, our projected growth did not happen as we expected.
Yeah, there's a few theories that I have. It's hard to say, I wasn't here. But from what I can tell, the city probably was in a tough spot with needing to start looking at pulling from fund balance prior to fiscal year 26. However, there were COVID relief funds that came into play that then ran out. And I think those COVID relief funds helped carry Grantsville City through like a couple extra years before they had to start pulling from the fund balance. So for fiscal year 26, they pulled approximately 2.7 million from fund balance. Now, if we come down to so this is what is expected revenue for this upcoming fiscal year. So 13,257, that is without a property tax increase. So that would stay the same, which our expenses with just the 3% inflation increase on the budget lines, no asks, just the 3% inflation increase puts us at 15,007,300, which is more by approximately $1,749,007 and $1.
Oh, less than last year.
Yes, so it is less than last year. With that, part of that is because I have in here, and again, you can address me otherwise if this is not accurate, but it's my understanding that we will be receiving the water credit sale money at the end of this month. And it will be in the water fund, and we'll go through the public process of transferring that into our capital projects fund. Now, the capital project fund only gets revenue from transfers in. So last year, the general fund transferred $2,026,600 into capital projects. Now, I took that out for fiscal year 27 because now we're gonna have a substantial amount in there from the sale of the water credit. So there's no reason for the general fund to be contributing to the capital projects fund. So I did take out that $2 million because we don't need that. Now, if that's incorrect and you guys had a different intention for the 18 million and I've misunderstood, then I can receive further direction on what the intention of that 18 million is for. So we did have that. I wonder if I could change it down here. Okay. So, that is less, which is good. However, I recognize that the 1.7 million is concerning. So right now in fund balance, we have approximately 2.5 million. So there is still fund balance in there. However, I caution pulling from it too heavily, for the reason that the longer we fund without an increase, the bigger the span is gonna be that we have to bridge the gap with an increase. So right now, this increase at 84%, it is a lot and it is steep. Last year, to make up that 2.7 would have been 130% increase. So we can talk for further direction if you want to pull from the fund balance, if you guys are wanting to redirect me on the usage of the 18 million. But or if we're wanting to, cut budget lines, that's also obviously an option. We can put projects on hold, we can change different things, but as it stands right now, as Grantsville City is operating, that's the gap that we need to fund somehow. So the 84% increase again does come to about $27.92. So $27.92 a month for the average resident, with the average home value of $530,000. So, beyond that, on our other lines, our enterprise funds are looking good, so there's no changes there. As far as rates or increases there, you guys will obviously, I'll share this document with you so you can review it in detail, but they didn't have, like we had mentioned, the water line capital projects were included in this budget for water, but the water fund's looking good, the sewer fund and the garbage fund are both looking good, unless I receive different direction for the bulk pickup for garbage, then we can address that. But it's primarily the largest thing tonight is just the general fund being short. So getting direction on how we want to address that would be ideal. And then to be sure, the amounts that are presented tonight at the increase,
Not committed.
we're not committed to that. You guys could say, no, I don't want 84, but let's do any other percent less than that, and we can look at that. I would just need further direction on what other changes you would want to accommodate for the revenue deficiency.
The investment of the million possibly using that to kind of delay.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
The big impact of this.
So with the increase in the water fund, with that large payment coming in, we do have the option, if instructed, so we could invest that. Right now, Michael and I had a call with the bank last week, and if we, at the low end, they said that if we were to invest the full 18 million, we would be getting about 700,000 in interest income in over a year. So that would, if that was an option that we wanted to go, we would have that interest income coming in from the invested 18 million. It gets invested in like a tiered system, so it wouldn't all be locked up for like 5 years. It would be, we could select how much we would want to be available to use in 1 month, 3 months, a year, etc. Like it's not all invested for the next 5 years without being able to use. We can explore options for the investment of that if that would be something that you guys were wanting to pursue. Again, just a tentative budget of where things are at now. It will change, the budget will change. I don't expect it to stay as it is presented tonight, but we do need to start having the conversations of what changes you guys want to see and what direction you want us to go in so that we can make it happen.
What departments have the biggest increases besides, well, obviously sewer, that's gonna be a big expense, but what from this 2026 to 2027? What are those increases look like?
Honestly, a lot of them, like I had said, right now in the budget is just a 3% increase across the board. So it's just operation. And the 3% I put in there just based on inflation. So it would just be increasing their operating expenses to keep up with inflation, but it doesn't include any asks, the water fund does include those projects for the water lines on Apple and Hale, but otherwise, the departments aren't getting new equipment, they're not getting new employees, they're not getting new asks. It's just operation. So right now, that's how the budget stands. So obviously you could cut operating budget if that's something that you're wanting to pursue, but there's some things that like we can't, we have an insanely high Rocky Mountain Power bill and we can't do anything about that. So that there's some operating expenses that we could look at if you'd like to cut. And we can have that discussion if you have specific ones in mind. But honestly, no department is the most expensive right now because all of them are only operating at a low level and all of them have lots of asks that we've said no to all of them because strictly for being able to afford it. We can't afford if we don't change anything. So, yeah.
So you're saying the increase only goes for those certain things, the 30,000 for the study?
Yes, so the
extra
increase
Parks.
person and then just a 3%
Overall.
overall.
Just that.
Mhm.
And nothing else really changes besides
No.
the 3%. So police department's not getting any new officers?
Correct.
And you already said we're lower than the average for public safety?
Correct.
Cause that would be an extra, almost, if he wanted 4 officers, that'd be $400,000. Then we have to add that to this, and that would increase the amount of taxes that you would have to have here. We didn't think that was, because we don't even like this number, especially after increasing the sewer rate right here. So we are where we are with this thing, so we can go slash and start really going after the different departments. What kind of amenities do we don't want to provide for anymore? Like with the park, we're building a brand new park and we don't hire a new person for that, then it kind of defeats the purpose of building a park if we're not going to maintain it. And so we are lower than last year by $1 million. So we have reduced that gap significantly from the 16 million that was last year's proposal to 15 million. And we're still that 1.7 million difference right now. And so if we invest the money from the sewer credits, the 18 million, that hopefully we get that 700,000 down. So then it'll bring it down to about $1 million. That doesn't eliminate us, the council using that 18 million. It just delays it like for a year to then maybe come up with plans on how we want to spend that. But in that year, we can use that interest to offset what we're doing here and then decide how we want to adjust the taxes in the future and address these problems. So we just passed the capital facilities plan, and there's a lot of expenses in that plan that are currently not budgeted unless we increase some other revenue coming into the city. We won't be able to meet our capital facilities plan. Future, any upsizing or anything like that is not factored into it even this year until we fix our deficit and actually bring some money in to help meet those upsizings. We're not going to be able to even do the capital facilities plan that the public and what we're wanting to do here. I think this is kind of a bigger problem with like the sewer treatment plan itself. It's like you need a future plan for Grantsville City budget going forward and start getting the funds available to that. No one loves raising taxes, they hate it. But the reality of it is, unless we keep up with inflation or with the projects, we're gonna always be behind. And we haven't raised taxes in over 17 years here, which is an extremely great amount of time, but also hurts the city significantly because it should have been incremental increases. If we'd raised it 3% every year, we wouldn't have to increase it this drastically right now. With that deficit, we can start going, again, it's really about if we want to reduce it, which departments do we undersize? Which amenities do we stop doing? We already have complaints on our different parks, the cemetery, do I pull persons from there? With our expanded growth in community development, we did expand that department, but it has addressed some of the issues that we've been dealing with in avoiding litigation on that. One of our biggest expenses is our lawsuits. That's $150,000 right there with the annexations that we're dealing with. That could get rid of, that would help reduce the budget, but those are those expenses that we have to pay.
So you're gonna email us this
Yeah.
proposal? Is the department breakdown or itemization is gonna be included?
Yeah, it'll be yeah.
It'll be the full.
Yeah, so I think, let's see, so it includes. It's 664 lines. So yeah, it includes a line item, every single budget line item for every single department and the budgeted amount for all of those lines.
Okay.
And we would recommend that if the council is open to it, to do a budget kind of retreat to go, if we want to line item by line and address each one of those, kind of resetting expectations, what they want to do. It will require some time to do that with the council, because this is your budget. This is what we want to do. We want to make it the best we can as staff and be sensitive to our residents and how we want to do that. So if we want to go and address each line by line, I think that might be beneficial to help assess where we're at and meet those needs. And whether there needs to be cuts, we would like that direction from council on how that would work. Because there is new council here, we have new staff, and so it would be helpful to find that direction council really wants to go on this.
I like that approach. I think we need to do that.
I think so too. I mean, I know you guys have gone through this, but like, and I'm all for like making sure the park is maintained, but it's also like at the risk of public safety or at the risk of other departments. So I'm like, I think I'd like to go through and see where this money is. I know nobody wants to raise property taxes, but I also don't want to get it to the point where we've not done it for so long, then suddenly our funds run out and now we have to increase it exponentially even more than that. So I get it, but I also think we do need to sit down and then say, I mean, it's hard to tell every department no, and then just be like, just you and you and you get this, which I understand, we're gonna have to do that. There's just no getting around it. Everybody can't get what they want. So I get that, but I think that we collectively need to say, okay, maybe this line can't go out, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you guys didn't do a great job. I know this is, we appreciate all the work you guys have
Yeah,
done.
no, and
I'm not new, obviously, but I think I'd like to look and see it.
Yeah, and that's extremely valuable to get direction from you guys on what your priorities are, and what, departments kind of may need an extra. Some departments we may need to say yes to, while others we say no to, but getting that direction from you guys is valuable because I don't have the authority to make those kinds of decisions for you. So if we had an opportunity to all get on the same page and I can help make the budget what you guys want it to be. So that'd be valuable.
But I guess tonight we wanted to, because we have, by the rules of the state now, we have to set a number out there, and we wanted to at least set that we don't have a deficit, so we can get out of that. Because we can come down from that once we have our budget meeting, reduce that. We just couldn't go higher than that. So we wanted to set it at very least for the council to have that option, so that you have all your options before you.
So for clarity's sake, the resolution that we have before us tonight is really just to set that upward end expectation and then work towards a small number from there.
Mm-hmm.
No more than this, but
Exactly.
yeah. We'll roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Yes.
Not to exceed number. Understood.
Yeah, I think we need to go through it line by line.
Yeah, I agree. That's my sentiment as well. Just,
We are on like a somewhat tight timeline, like it needs to be this month. So, because we have to be presenting like final interim budgets in June, and establishing like public hearing dates and things like that. If a tax increase is pursued at any percentage, we will have to hold the public hearing and stuff in August and do all of that. So we do kind of I'm all for getting together, but we just need to make sure that that's something that we're all able to commit to doing this month, just for time's sake.
Do we need to set a date for a public hearing today? I know that it said on here that it says like establishing a time and a place of a public hearing. Is that something we have to do today?
I do have a date that's been approved by Tooele County as well as the state of Utah. Just in anticipation of if it is, we need to take it on the calendar, but if it's not pursued, then we don't need to hold one. So I don't know if there's a point in
We still have
disclosing
to
the date.
hold a public hearing for the tentative budget.
Oh,
The
okay.
final budget, but we still have to hold a public hearing prior to June 13th to adopt the tentative budget, right?
The interim one.
The interim.
Yeah, so if we pursue a property tax increase on June 13th, we'll adopt an interim budget that will operate on until the property tax increase would go through later in August. Because we don't do the truth and taxation public hearings for a tax increase until August, which is after our fiscal year begins. So we would have to adopt an interim budget. If we don't pursue an increase at all, we would just then adopt a final budget in June to operate on in fiscal year 26, because nothing would be changing with property taxes. So it's a confusing process. So if you have questions on that, let me know.
Do we want to set a date now, or do we want to tackle this and then wait till the end, or what do we want to do in regards to a work meeting going through the budget? And slashing and moving and appropriating and adjusting line items. True. What's your suggestion?
If we could set it now, maybe we could do it, not, like, just maybe like next week or a week after, kind of in between our council meetings, set a special meeting to go over the budget type thing.
How much notice does that require?
24 hours.
Just 24 hours? Okay.
This is almost like a work session kind of thing.
Okay.
And we do have a council meeting on the day of graduation, I noticed as well.
I'm gone the 19th through the 24th.
So the 13th.
So that'd be a week from today. I could do it.
My schedule is unknown on that day.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have any way of knowing where my house will be.
When does that end?
It ends next
Next
Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Mhm.
What, do it on Friday again? Do it on the 15th.
Oh, that'll interfere with.
Oh, that you'll still won't know how long the 13th till the what?
16th is
Oh,
state.
Yeah, the 11th, I could actually do that. Well, could make that evening work, because I know the game time for that day.
that's next Monday, the 11th.
Yeah.
You do that.
I could do that.
I could do the 11th as well.
Jeff?
Let's make it work.
I could do the 11th.
Want to do 6? 7?
6, I say that, sir.
6 o'clock.
I go to bed early, I'm a grandma.
Yeah, let's do it 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, I say
Yep.
it.
So Monday, May 11th at 6 o'clock. Okay, sounds good.
With one request, Michael can't call it a retreat ever again.
You didn't have a good time?
His retreats suck. Not for the record.
Are we playing Jeopardy?
Yeah, we love to.
No.
Even though I lost.
I'm not as fun as Alicia, I'm sorry.
The 20th, do we want to discuss the 20th?
Yes, I talked to Mindy.
Okay.
I knew she was in charge really, so.
About moving that, is there graduation on that day?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's high school graduation date. There's a possibility I would have an issue with the meeting that evening, so.
Yeah, Jake and I both have a graduate that day.
I'll be gone that
So
day.
So we're gonna be quorum short anyways.
Would it be best just to push that meeting to the 27th?
I will be out on the 27th, but if
Okay.
everybody else is available, then
I will also be gone on the 27th.
this is hard.
Nice. Terry, you're going on the 19th, right, to the 23rd?
Mm-hmm.
What about the 18th?
For the 25th.
The 25th is Memorial Day though.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's right.
It's not.
Not that I have any
26th.
plans, but.
18th works. If I'm out of here by 10:30, I got a red eye at midnight, so.
Oh, geez. That's just what you want to do, go right to there. I could do the 18th.
I could also do the 18th. Sorry, I'm.
And that's for
making
the
things difficult.
A regular
Council
meeting
meeting.
to replace the 20th.
Or it's a graduation.
Out of order, but it's okay.
We're getting stuff done.
Well,
7 o'clock.
Yes.
If it goes long, I'll just have to sneak out.
right. Anything else?
No. I think that's
Not
it.
that wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think I'm done. Thank you. Yeah. I'm finished.
Thanks, husband.
Yeah.
Did we say 6 o'clock on the 11th?
Yes.
Yes.
And then whatever they have to do with this resolution.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a little confusing because, so this resolution, the state has, we have to state certain things, everything that was listed on the agenda and everything that Aspen stated. So we thought it would be good to just put it in a resolution stating that she did that and you guys acknowledged that, which is what this is. And then we can take off the public hearing schedule to adopt the tentative budget. So this is just basically a confirmation that Aspen stated all of those things on the agenda and that we presented the property tax impact schedule during this meeting. That's all that for this resolution is. The next resolution, you don't have to pass it. Right now, number 13, you don't have to pass it right now. Just because we don't know if we're gonna go through a truth and taxation or not. So we can wait on that one. I did put
I
sample
lived.
motions up there for you guys.
On this motion, do we have to say all, the whole thing, A, B, C, like, yeah, does all have to be?
No, no, there was a separate paper, little
Gotcha.
packet with
Awesome.
sample
Mayor.
motions
There
and
you go.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-36, documenting compliance with the truth and taxation statement requirements under 59-2-919 in anticipation of the council's adoption of the tentative fiscal year 2027 budget and establishing a time and place of a public hearing to consider its adoption as June 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. at Grantsville City Hall located at 429 East Main Street, Grantsville, Utah 84029, as well as electronically via Zoom.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Dalton and a second by Councilmember Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right? And
So we can table 13 based
Mhm.
on, Mayor, I make a motion, we table resolution 2026-37, declaring the intent of Grantsville City to consider an increase in property tax revenue above the certified tax rate for fiscal year 2027 pursuant to the requirements of Utah House Bill 236, publishing a property tax impact disclosure and establishing a time and place of truth of taxation public hearing based on.
stop right there.
yeah, because we haven't established it yet until we
Establish.
until we adopt that interim.
Right, I was gonna add based on results following next Monday's meeting to review the budget.
Perfect.
As a council. Is that accurate?
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
A motion by Councilmember Thomas and a second by Councilmember Skinner, all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping us in check.
That one was a little weird, so.
All right, item number 14, presentation of USA RV and parking storage site plan approved by the Planning Commission on April 20th, 2026. This is a presentation only, no motion.
Are you doing it?
Oh, yes, sorry. I did not hear. Will you go down? Yeah, to the site plan, keep going. Right, yeah, that'll work. So last year, this came in front of Planning Commission and the City Council. Initially, it was a complaint and they were out of compliance with their conditional use permit. It then went through Planning Commission and an appeal was made by the applicant, which then brought it to City Council's hands. There were discussions that the northern gate that's not showing on the site plan, which is near SR 138 and Old Lincoln Highway, was not favored by council, and it was requested that a second gate was added. So in the center where that dark area is, where there was already an established gate, they've cleared that out, they're graveling it, and that's where the second access will be. Which a second access was requested, and it was requested to have the site plan come back in front of council for an update. So after we went through the review, a vigorous review on this, it's now ready to be presented, so.
So they're not expanding onto that extra area where they wanted to, this is the second entrance, or are they expanding?
They are, so where you see the grading lines on the southeast-ish, that's where they're expanding, so.
So there is an access now directly onto 138.
Old Lincoln Highway.
Okay,
So here is the second access, and then this is the expansion.
okay.
that they've asked for, so we're gonna match the fencing, the blue chain link fencing around connected to it, and then there will be a little access here.
I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi everyone, this is Andre. You've been working with Trent for a while, but actually he's now in the hospital with his wife. They're just having a baby today in the next couple of hours. So he has asked me if I can come and like cover for him. So obviously I said yes. I own the business with Trent, but Trent runs the business. He lives there. Anyway, but we've been working very diligently with the city on this. And yeah, there is a gate there right now. So there are 2 gates on the property as of right now. We have it's a manual gate right now, like a 20-foot manual gate. We are getting installed an automated gate once we have the final approval and we can expand on this project. My camera is so ugly, or I am ugly, I guess. It's like so zoomed into my face. I'm like, get away from me.
Shelby, so they were out of compliance, that's why they came to us. Since then, have they stayed in compliance, and have we had any other issues come up with them?
They have stayed in compliance. We received more of a comment or concern that they were having I don't want to say a garage sale, but kind of a garage sale, but that is allowed up to 2 times a year. And so we did work with them on a site plan for that, so.
And then did those containers ever get moved that were on that? Or what did we do with that? On this, on the extension where they're trying to do the site plan. Did
well,
those get
their
moved?
containers are allowed on the property,
I
so,
just couldn't
yeah.
remember what we decided on that part.
So I
It's
mean,
been
they
so long
have,
ago.
they have moved them and they're grading them. They brought rock in, and material to, line the ditch, as well as bring in pipe there, so.
Yeah, we're all just waiting on approval and we'll get to work.
Was there some type of line going through this property that we asked for an easement for?
Yes, and so we have obtained that easement, actually, it's kind of hard to see on this, but right here, this is where the water line is. There was already a recorded easement on it, and then they're just moving the fence 15 feet above the water line.
Okay. I know that got brought up last time, so.
You mentioned the fence. What's the dimensions on the fence? The height?
6 feet.
6 feet?
It's a currently it's a 6 foot with blue slats, and the expansion will match it. Black chain link, 6 foot with blue slats. Very beautiful, probably the most beautiful fence on that part of town where we have only 3 neighbors anyway.
Well,
It's
all the other
very nice.
fences are cedar posts, so. And they're all 100.
No, it's a 6 foot black chain link fence with blue slats. Super cool, super nice looking.
Great.
Any other questions or concerns on this item?
Oh, I know originally, it's concerns of neighboring residents, obviously ensuring everything's inside the fence, it's clean, it's neat, it's nice. And following those recommendations is what I would expect, so. As long as we're addressing all of those in that format. Are there any other concerns that we're not aware of that have been brought to staff that maybe we need to be up to speed on?
Nope, you already made sure you beat them up on the, drainage swell that runs through their property, and so, yeah.
We address the entry, being able to access off the roads,
Correct, yep.
not having some vehicle in the middle of the road trying to get out, etc. I don't have any other concerns. All right.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Good. So Mayor, I make a motion, we approve.
Just.
It's
Oh,
just
Just a
sorry.
presentation, yeah, sorry.
The planning commission's approved.
Approved it, yeah.
They just wanted to let us know what they were doing.
Okay,
Good job.
perfect. Okay. Well, we'll close item number 14.
Thank you.
Item number 15, consideration of resolution 2026-33, approving the selection and appointment of a wastewater treatment plant inspector. This will be presented by Christy.
Yeah, and I told Aspen she can come help, but we had 4, we had 4 companies submit the RFP. None of them did it correctly.
Oh.
So
Yeah, so unfortunately, Agnita, I don't know, 15, they, when we had put out the bid, none of them responded correctly with their costs. Like, you're supposed to include them separately. It was explicitly stated. Some did, some didn't. But then the people that did still didn't actually state on there that it was their best, like, they would not exceed cost, which was also explicitly stated that they needed to include. So because of that, we had to just consider them all
Consider all of
anyway,
them.
because none of them submitted properly, so then it would throw out all of them. So because none of them did it correctly, we considered all of them still. And so if you scroll down just a little, Alicia, I'm sorry, just where it gets these total points. So the top points are the technical points that the evaluation committee judges before they see cost, ideally, which is why we ask that cost is submitted separately, so there's not a pre-notion or bias created on the cost already. So based on what was the technical scores, offer C was the highest scoring in the technical section. And then they were the third. So they got 10.86 of the cost points once we put all of their costs in there. But overall, offer C was still the highest scoring respondent with cost considered or without cost considered. So given that we considered all four of them still, we felt confident that in awarding to offer C. So that's the recommendation of the evaluation committee, is to award to offer C, which is presented here. So
How
Yeah.
quick do we need an inspector in?
Now,
immediate, yeah.
so
Yep,
we've
last
started
week.
already, and right now we're paying a company in the interim until we
Well,
approve this.
kind of makes me nervous if they can't pay attention to detail on a RFP, then how are they gonna do on the inspecting of sewer treatment facility? That's why I asked him that, because if we can put it back out and have them do it correctly.
So the hard part with putting it back out is, per state statute, if we resolicit in a public solicitation, there has to be a significant change in the scope, but we don't have a significant change. The scope of what we're asking for is the same. So
Some did it correctly, some didn't, or.
no,
none of them did.
ultimately
They just
no
did-
one did.
They just
Yeah.
did it wrong in different parts of it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Was that due to the RFP in general? Was it not? Do you feel like it wasn't clear?
And that's something that we also took into consideration, like there could be issues with our solicitation if not a single one of the vendors did it correctly. So that was part of the reason we still continued all of them. We did read through it. We had Eric from Aqua read through it. It seems clear to us, but evidently we're wrong. So we're looking into rewording and adjusting what that needs to look like in solicitations moving forward to make sure that that is less of a question mark.
I'm gonna ask you a tough question. The company that we're currently using right now to fill in the void, did that company put in an offer on this?
Yes.
Is that by chance offer C? Just curious.
I don't know.
Can I ask that question? Guess I can ask whatever question I want.
Can I answer that
Whether you get an
question?
answer, we'll see.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
It is.
And I was gonna ask, is there a reason why we wouldn't just go with the low number on this specifically?
With such a close total point.
Oh,
Well, technically, they had quite a lower score.
okay, in what
It was
areas-
just their cost point that was high, so that's what's
Mhm.
making them look competitive.
In what areas would they fail?
So they did not, when we evaluated, they did not appear to understand the scope of work.
So sorry, Alicia, if you scroll back up, so the technical scores were on responsiveness, experience, project scope and understanding, and qualifications. So our evaluation committee evaluated the responses that were submitted based on that. That is one reason why we do request for proposal rather than just invitation for bid. Invitation for bid does tie us into going with the low cost option only, and you can't consider other factors. However, that sometimes means that we're sacrificing value. And so RFPs allow us to go for an award to the best value for the city rather than just the low cost option, which sometimes ends up costing us more.
Can you scroll back down a little bit, Alicia, down to the bottom? Yeah. B and C are very close. I mean, in my mind, 87.24, 88.2. And B's less. So is that, is what I'm looking at Is it a big difference? Is it not a big difference?
No, you're correct. I think Chrissy's point earlier was since none of them did the cost portion correctly, if we took consideration of the cost out of it, offer C was the highest scorer and they had a total of 77.33 points. Offer B scored lower at 70.67. So the reason that they get bumped up to the 87 overall points is just because they get a higher percentage of the cost
So
points
really
because
looking
they
at-
have a
So looking
lower
at the
cost.
technical points, that's 7 points. What are we what kind of difference is that? Is that gonna be? Is that not that bad? This guy could do okay. I'm just, like,
Well,
to me, it's
That's
seven doesn't seem like a lot. I
$100,000.
mean, it's
Yes.
$100,000 we could save.
So at
Are
that
we-
point, we could argue that maybe we go with offer D, who scored lower too at 75 points, but then we don't want to consider them because they're the most expensive.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, is if we're not awarding to the highest scoring respondent, we have to provide justification for why we deviated from awarding to the highest scoring respondent. So the hard part to justify would, I guess, would be arguing that they scored lower in their technical response. So the evaluation committee overall felt like they were less qualified to do what we were asking for.
Were either of the two of you, any one of the three evaluators?
I am not. So,
Not, but you were?
yeah, so myself and Marie in the finance office handled the solicitations and we take in on the questions and the posting and the communication with the vendors to prevent any bias so created by members on the evaluation committee. So that allows our department heads and other staff members that are educated in their area to sit on the evaluation committee, because that provides a higher value than them managing an RFP.
I mean, I don't sit on these evaluator things, but for one person to give a 30 on the scope and understanding on offer B, and then evaluator 3 gives an 18, I mean, that's quite a jump.
That's true. And then, so you do have that span on offer A, B, and D. However, offer C, which is the recommended awarding, all of them scored high. So all the evaluators, while they were kind of across the board in that area, on the other respondents, they were all on the same page with scoring offer C high. Which is the recommended awarded vendor. And also just to clarify the process, the evaluation committee receives the responses and fills out their score sheet for the technical portion on their own independently. We don't get together and score them together.
They're not influenced by somebody
Mhm.
else.
And they're, like, we send out ideally. So we do our best to ensure that the technical scores are independently scored prior to when we come together on the meeting, which did occur in this circumstance. We actually had to postpone it because not everyone was finished. So we did, just so that way we would have everyone's technical scores prior to convening to discuss it together, where a score could be swayed by another evaluator.
I'm gonna ask another hard question. So tell me that the engineering firm that designed our wastewater treatment plant is not offer C. Just because there are certain engineering firms that offer up these type of services. I just want to make sure that offer C, because we don't know who that is. I don't want to see a conflict of interest in those regards. So the engineering.
These
firm-
are different, these are not an engineering firm, these are testing
Right.
firms.
Testing firms.
Yeah, so they're not included in the design or the,
But no, it's not the.
yeah,
Just want to make sure.
yeah, that's fair.
So it's,
Maybe,
go ahead.
maybe it'd be beneficial to talk publicly, regarding, what the inspector's job is, what time frame this associates with, for the benefit of the public, just kind of, wow, is this a year-long commitment? Forever
So this is
Is this the full
a very
project?
general overlook, but again, this is for an inspector to be there from the beginning to the end of the project, from soil sampling immediately right now to compaction, to then also concrete, for hardness, for strength in the rebar and the welding, and all parts starting now till the end.
And the cost of the inspector, is that in the budget for the plant?
Yes, it's included in it. Yes. So again, because this is over 35,000 per our procurement policy, before we hire a firm to do this, we needed to go out to bid.
So offer C fits within our budget that we have for the inspector.
For the wastewater
Yes,
treatment plant.
yes.
For the wastewater treatment
But
plant.
did we have budgeted in there for it? What was the amount?
We just,
I don't know where I have it broken down. What Robert sends us.
While you're doing that, in the technical score portion, in responsiveness, what was the max score that you could give a particular offerer? Was it 15 or was it 30? What was the max score you could give in that first category?
Let me double check, sorry.
Says 15.
15 is the max score.
Yeah. One of the issues, so
Yes,
for
that's correct.
specifically special inspections, and my history was special inspections, one of the issues that you have typically with those type of inspections is they vary on where the company is coming from, how long they are spending traveling, because that's part of their inspection cost. And so those numbers can vary. The other component that becomes variable is if that inspector comes out specifically to look at one item, when he has the opportunity to look at four, and he just looks at ones and goes, then comes back and looks at another and goes back and looks at another. So there is an economy of scale that can be from a saving standpoint if they are inspecting multiple things at one point in time. So I guess without really kind of digging through what they were offering, how they were offering, I guess that would just be one of the things that I'd like to say, like that we have a due diligence there to be as efficient as possible so that those inspections aren't. And it looks like this is an overall number. I don't know if this is an overall number and then all of a sudden we get a change order because they're coming more frequently than they thought they were going to be, or they're traveling farther than they thought they were going to be. I just wasn't sure how our RFP reads specifically to protect us against a cost increase on these inspections.
we did ask them to break it down for an hourly cost, but also for an estimated overall cost of what the whole project would be.
So GMP, max price. Okay.
Like, we're spending a lot of money on this sewer treatment plant, so we want to get somebody good, honestly. But like, I'm kind of doing B and C because it's like, save us a little bit of A and D to me, kind of see how, obviously. And the evaluating committee is recommending C, so I'm very, that's, we should choose C. We obviously want somebody who knows what they're doing.
So we have to choose C unless there's a good reason why we don't want to choose C and choose B instead. That's where we're at, yeah. And what would be, I wish Tyson was here, but what would be a reason that we would, besides, that's what's so frustrating with government, like
saving
$90,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Is that a good enough reason?
Yeah, that's a lot of money and.
Alicia?
Tyson is online, actually.
Especially after just going through the budget, it's even.
Yeah, especially after the last item.
Tyson, can you hear us?
I can't hear you. Yeah.
So can you tell us what would be some legal reasons or reasons how we could choose offer B to save $90,000 instead of offer C?
What's the hang up again as far as why you are hesitant to do that?
So offer C, their cost is 266, almost 267,000. Offer B, which scored the next highest, is $175,000. So about $90,000 difference. And there's a 7-point score difference.
On technical.
On technical.
Overall, there's a 1 point, that's less than a point.
Less than a point on total, yeah, everything.
Council has broad discretion to make a determination on their selection based on what they believe to be in the best interest of the city. And so that's a prerogative that lies within your hands. The criteria used to score these, was pursuant to state code. But on blind review, if council is inclined to make a determination that one category of evaluation is weightier than another, then that's within your realm.
We would just have to state then likely on the record why we were making that choice if we, right, Tyson?
Absolutely, yes.
With some, limited information.
Yeah.
And we don't know if
We don't
offer
even-
B is
yeah.
based out of Hawaii,
The thing is, I like, when I'm looking at, it's like evaluator one gave 10s all across to everybody, under qualifications. If you go up, we go up one just a little bit more, sorry. The same with evaluator one, project scope and understanding, all 30s. So I just feel like, I'm not pointing anybody out, I'm just saying, so, I mean, it seems like they're comparable, at least to this evaluator.
The difference is the project scope and understanding between offer B and offer C. And that's the glaring delta between the two of them in the technical portion and how they were scored. I mean, that's the glaring difference.
Yeah.
Right here between the two and we'll need to pick on the evaluators, but had those scores been a little bit differently, this would be even closer to what it is, and it's only 0.96 between the two. I think we're all thinking the same thing, and we understand your recommendation, Christy. And with offer C, I did ask the question. I mean, they are there right now. They obviously, we brought them on board because they understand the project scope and they're filling the gap. I guess how much cost have we incurred with offer C to date? And it may not be much at all. And how much of those costs are wrapped up in that $266,000? It may be negligible because we're so early in the project, right?
5 days.
5 days,
Yeah, like we haven't received an
Couple-
invoice or anything
couple
yet.
$1,000. But obviously what we're using for them right now, we're gonna have to pay above and beyond the $175,000 if we choose offer B. So, correct?
Correct.
Sorry, what did you say? We're gonna have to do what?
Okay, so offer C is on site right now.
Right,
And we're paying them essentially on a T&M basis.
Right.
Because we need someone
right now.
on board, right?
Yeah.
But there's costs that are gonna be incurred with offer C. to date. If we choose offer B, the $175,000, we'll need to pay,
Some additional
some additional costs
To see,
to C because they're there right now. That's why I asked that question.
right,
So
but they're saying it wouldn't be that much. It's more than five.
it's, yeah, but it is something.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, I don't think it matters that much.
And I'm not trying to look over, like, I mean, the evaluators obviously know, they know more than me on this. But it seems so close between B and C that saving $90,000 would be considerable.
And council has that discretion to make that call.
Did you find out how much we had in the budget?
No, it doesn't explicitly state any for inspections specifically.
This is above and beyond.
It would be included. We do have $2 million contingency or buffer. So it would, yeah, it would be covered for sure. But there wasn't an explicit budget estimated from Aqua for the cost of special inspections.
I just worry about service. I mean, a good inspector, I don't want anything held up. Is there a level of service that all of them are held to? We don't, this is so weird. We don't know.
So back to the evaluation, we had to make sure all of them had the certifications for this,
Okay, so they all have it.
according to their proposal.
Okay.
So all four offerers are qualified to do the work.
All four of them had
Certification.
certifications.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you go with B, we're just getting ready to ask for a huge increase on all this money and we have a chance to save $90,000 and we're not going to.
But also, that's not 90,000 we're gonna be able to move to some general fund,
No.
right? This is-
No.
I mean, just so we're clear, this is still, I mean, I do think it's good, we should save money on the sewer treatment, but I just wanna be clear, this is not like, oh, hey, we can take this 90,000 and move it to some other place.
No,
That's correct.
We know.
What? It's great. I know.
But I think it's great to say.
Yeah, that's just it. I think some people say, oh, we say 90,000, we can get something else from the way, a different ask, but we can't do that. That's just what I
Yeah.
I understand that too.
Clarification.
If anything we can save here would be, we roll into the new loan, or we can get that interest rate to reduce that kind of stuff.
or it may help with change orders that may come.
Very good. With that, I'll make a motion.
Before you do
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
Sorry, I had one last question. So just for clarity, if offer C is chosen, the cost that they've expended would be a portion, it would not be in addition to what their estimate is. It would be included in their estimate. Is that accurate?
So the last 5 days are included in their offer,
Would be. Or would not?
or we're still gonna have to pay them the contracted fee for this first week?
That's unclear, I think. At this point.
Unclear,
We're definitely
okay.
gonna be asking for that.
Yeah.
I would think it would be part of what they overall.
Right now, I would think just asking them to do it right now, because we needed somebody.
Right.
But if they get the bid, that would definitely push them that this is that scope. Otherwise, we just pay them for the 5 days and then.
Yeah. Not that that would be very much of a cost, but okay, thank you. Sorry, I took it.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution 2026-33, approving the selection and appointment of the wastewater treatment plant inspector to offer B due to the fact that the total points was negligible. It was less than 1 point, and the savings was $90,000. And so that's my reasoning why, my motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You.
Item number 16, consideration of resolution 2026-35, authorizing the execution of an equipment lease purchase agreement for the acquisition of a Vector truck and other related matters.
Yeah, so you guys actually did approve for the purchase of the sewer department to purchase the vac truck at the previous meeting. The reason we're coming before you is we actually did change to, before it was presented to you to do the financing through the supplier. However, they actually had a really high rate of like loan management.
I bet.
And so we did reach out to other options, and Zions came in with a much more reasonable like loan management fee. And then, so it ultimately takes down the cost.
And a
of the
lower
back
rate.
check. So yeah, the rate is lower and then our management costs are down like 47,000.
Yeah.
It was a huge difference. So it's just coming before you again because we did change and we were approved to finance through the supplier, but now we would like to finance through Zions instead. So that's why it's before you again.
The Class C funds before. right?
It's
The
still-
road funds?
Sewer.
Sewer,
Sorry, sewer.
Yeah, so this is for the sewer,
The
for their
sewer
back
truck,
truck to get the financing.
That we approved at the last meeting.
So on the truck, we're just making it cheaper to buy right now.
Great,
Well,
like-
and the amount's cheaper than what you had proposed previously, upwards of more than $100,000
Well-
cheaper.
No, the cost is still, we've put
I
down,
thought-
we'll put down 100,000 and this is the amount we're financing.
Okay, so it's
Yes.
still at the.
But it was
six-
still
660.
47,000 less.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what's cheaper?
It's cheaper because the financer wanted to charge us a
The fee.
$50,000 fee to go through them.
mhm,
And Zions is charging us about a $3,000 fee.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a big difference.
yeah, so. We're saving $47,000
Plus the interest.
plus.
Plus
an
the interest was
Yes,
less as well.
so,
Plus the $90,000 we just saved.
Yes.
yeah, see, look at us.
We're gonna get this.
We're on a roll.
This budget slashing thing on the 11th. Well, we'll get close, or we'll make some moves. Okay, very good. Yeah, thank you for looking into that, because typically it's never good to finance something through a supplier like that. Usually it's better to go through a entity like Zions, so.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right, can I get a motion?
Yeah, Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-35, authorizing the execution of the equipment lease purchase agreement for the acquisition of the Vector truck and other related matters as presented.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Right. Item 17, consideration of resolution 2026-28, approving amendments to the Grantsville City fee schedule to increase the zoning plan checks and permit fees and adding right-of-way permit fees, sidewalk or driveway replacement fees, water or sewer connection fees, and asphalt repair fees to the zoning fees section.
Yeah, so in the building department, and if you want to scroll through this, the zoning plan check fee was $25. And with the communication and the plan check, that just doesn't even cover staff's time. So that was increased from 25 to 100. The plan check and the permit fee, that matches another permit inspection fee as well. And then we removed the right-of-way cut permits, sidewalk and things like that out of the building department's fee schedule and moved it to the zoning fee schedule because the inspectors are, not the building inspectors, but the land use inspectors are the ones inspecting those right-of-way permits. So it made sense to have that funding under zoning as well as allow us to be able to charge those fees through community and development's iWork application. So
Are the fees staying the same, but they're just being transferred
Yes.
over? Okay.
Was just those two things.
That's it.
That's good to me. Anybody have questions? Let's do this.
Go for it.
All
Brittany.
right, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-28, approving amendments to the Grantsville City fee schedule to increase the zoning plan check and permit fees and adding right-of-way permit fees, sidewalk or driveway replacement fees, water or sewer connection fees, and asphalt repair fees to the zoning fee section.
We have a motion by Councilmember Skinner. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Make lots of money.
Yeah.
Item 18, consideration of resolution 2026-32, approving rodeo arena light and water fees in the Grantsville City fee schedule. And this is presented by Aspen as well.
I know, you guys are gonna
Don't be
sit behind
getting
me.
comfy down there, Aspen.
I know.
Not tonight.
It's fine. I brought my Pepsi with me this time, so. Last time I had presented to you for the rodeo rental fee, there had been discussion about costs associated with the usage of the arena lights, the water over at the arena and other things like that. So I did do some research and I spoke with Christy and her team and just things that they thought would be reasonable rates to charge. And so we are proposing that the usage of the arena lights will be $25 per hour. Again, they would only need that if the event went into the evening, the dark night hours. And then for the usage of the arena water, that would be $15 per reservation. So if they are going to need to water the arena or use the water there, they would just let us know when they make the reservation and it would just be $15. It's a flat fee. It's not based on anything else. So that's just a follow-up to our discussion previously, and this is what is being recommended.
But that's per reservation, right? So the way I understood it, when you presented it last time, when we discussed it, the reservation isn't always needed, right? It's there, it's open.
Correct.
But if you want it reserved for you to be able to utilize, you need to make a reservation.
Correct.
There's a fee tied to that.
Mhm.
And if they want to use the water, it's there. But with the arena lights, if they want to use them at all, regardless of whether they made a reservation or not, will we be charging the $25 per hour? And how do we go about that?
How do they turn the lights on?
We can lock it, and so they can only turn them on if they have a reservation.
Do we have a lock on? That's the question.
You need a key for it, yes.
There we go. So yes, the arena lights you would need to be using with a reservation. So if don't have a reservation, you would not be able to turn them on.
Metal halide lights, so you can see the dial spin when you turn them on. Yeah. You get the old dinosaur style. Do
We
we
don't
go?
have the budget to put in LED lights yet. So, no.
Hey, once they warm up, they're really bright. They're
Oh,
great.
Are they working good?
Yeah, I went, Monday night, I came in about 9:30, turned them on, it takes about 5 minutes for them to really warm up and get bright, but they
I
work
I would
great.
not want to be the person that climbs the pole to change those bulbs out.
Now they got bucket trucks.
I know.
JLG.
Have we if we captured everything, I guess the only question I had is we captured everything regarding, I know. I think this is excited for the rodeo to come back to Grantsville. It's gonna be an awesome.
Yeah.
Opportunity. Is there any other areas that we feel like we need to capture within that space? And I guess
Have we?
it's a general question.
Tractor usage? Are we gonna look into charging extra for the tractor?
Do we open restrooms? We do that?
Restrooms are always open.
Okay.
They're open right now. So,
Okay.
I thought we were leaving it more as only city employees were using the tractor, is how we left it right now.
Yeah, right now we don't I would not recommend for, like I had mentioned when we discussed it previously, that the usage of the tractor is just a liability issue on our part. So,
I think,
and it does have rates in there for the, like, I don't want to say rental of an employee, but like to have an employee at your event
come
in
do
order to
that.
use the tractor to drag if necessary.
Okay.
So that is already in the fee schedule though, of Public Works employee per hour.
Not the, if I may, we did just bring in 800 tons of sand to this arena. So I would encourage people renting this arena to utilize having an employee there to work that sand, because all they're doing is just compacting it and breaking it down, and then we restart from ground zero again.
can we make that a requirement when it's rented for longer periods of time, that it has someone that gets to come take care of it before and take care of it after
But that
in the
does,
reservation?
that does require employees' time and,
Right.
you know.
But it would
Usually
be
on a weekend,
compensated as
probably.
part of it. I mean, I hate to force someone to do something, but it would help make it
Yes.
beneficial for use for everyone. I don't know how we do that though in a fee schedule, so without.
Christie, is the tractor used on a regular basis? Out the
That's our
road?
intent.
Okay,
No, they're.
Without a
they intend to
reservation.
Do it twice a week without any reservation.
Okay.
Regardless. You don't always make it.
Yeah.
That's the intent. We'll have summer hires here in a few weeks. That will help.
Correct.
I move to approve resolution 2026-32, approving roadie arena lights and water fees in Grantsville City fee schedule.
we have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we made it through that long agenda.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Good job, ladies.
Me too.
Good job.